The security chief, who really may have saved a lot of lives in a Panama City, Florida school board meeting, says he cried when he saw the superintendent and realized they were all safe. That from his first public comment since the shooting happened about this time 2 days ago. His name is Mike Jones. He's also known as Salvage Santa for his work helping needy children for the better part of a quarter century. He was the one who took down that gunman. He was ranting about taxes and his wife who lost her teaching job. Here's how Mike Jones himself describes what went down.
One of our finance people called me on my cell phone and said, Mike, there's a man in the boardroom with a gun. I was on the 4th floor. I took the stairs down, and I'd done a peekaboo into the room the first time. Just wanted to get an assessment, see what was going on. Drew the guy's attention to me. I was hoping to get him to come to me, to come out of the building, and he didn't fall for that. He wanted me to come in, and I closed the door to go to plan B. And from there, I went to my vehicle, which was parked right outside the back door, got my vest and some extra ammo because I knew it was serious. I knew that he had a real gun. The first 3 rounds I fired hit center mass. That's what I was aiming for. But man, he wouldn't go down. And then he started shooting at the board members again. So I kept shooting, but he was moving a lot, and he fell. And then his arm came up. I could see his arm, and he was still shooting at me. You got tunnel vision. You don't know that they're coming right at, but you know he's shooting in my direction. And so I laid down a couple of rounds. I was crawling past the chairs.
He says when he got to the aisle, this is what he saw. The gunman, Clay Duke, on the ground with the gun to his head. Then Duke pulled the trigger. During all of this, the security chief says he thought everyone on the board was dead.
I saw that first shot, and I knew the superintendent fell backwards, and all the board members fell backwards, and then he and I engaged in a gun battle that I'd lost the superintendent, and I'd let him down. And I love him and the board, and I love the school system, and that was the only thing that come to my mind. And when the superintendent came up from behind that counter, and Franklin Harrison, and he came and hugged my neck, that's when I lost it, like I am now, just crying. I cried at chick flicks too, y'all. But just to see him, it was like seeing a newborn baby for the first time. That I knew. I'm not lying to you, and I can't get that out of my mind. That's the picture that I see the most.
How great is that? He wasn't the only one who thought the superintendent had been shot, though. Listen to this 911 call. You can hear how scared some of those folks obviously were.
Is there any shots that were just fired?
Not yet. Oh my gosh, he's firing.
Okay.
He's firing.
Okay.
He's firing. I don't know if it turns out.
Are you secure? Where
We
you?
need an ambulance.
Okay.
We need an ambulance.
All right, we've got.
Superintendent's been shot.
Ooh, and they thought he had. As for the gunman, his wife says her husband was an excellent marksman who may have missed on purpose. But the gunman's stepdaughter says they understand that the chief did what he had to do. The security chief says he spent yesterday with his religious leader trying to come to terms with the role that he played in another man's death. And we're going to hear more from that security chief, who's now being called a hero across Panama City, Bay County, and all across the Panhandle. Mike Jones live with us when Studio B continues in just 90 seconds. More now from the security guard who stopped the school board shooting over 2 days ago. It was actually during this program. Mike Jones is with us live on the phone from Panama City. Mike, it's great to talk to you.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Man, I loved your analogy of seeing a newborn baby. Is that just the first thing that came to your mind when you realized the school superintendent wasn't shot like you thought he was?
Exactly, and that's all I can remember seeing is him coming back up, because I thought I'd let him down, and you know, I tried so many times to get the shooter to come out and engage with me, and man, when I saw him, I was just so relieved, and that's when I lost it.
Mike, weren't you supposed to be off day before yesterday?
You know, I was supposed to be off all week on vacation, and they asked me to stay a couple of days because we had that big weather front come through here, and we were worried about, you know, schools being without heat and air and water and things like that, and so I stuck around. But
this was just sort of a regular school board meeting, and you were mentioning how you got the word that something weird was up.
Right. I was on the 4th floor. I just got here, actually. They called me a couple of times, and I said, do you all need me there? Because I was out in the field working some other cases, and you know, I thought to myself, you know, I just need to go on down there because I got a lot of questions about some things on the board meeting. Just came back here, went up to my office on the 4th floor. I wasn't here 5 minutes, and I was in a gunfight.
Wow. How long had you been doing this for the school system?
I've been in their security chief for 6 years this coming March, and before that I was an elected school board member. I was a 2-term, 8-year school board member.
Wow. So for all this time, you've been there serving and then protecting, and that's what you do every day, and then one day you wake up the next morning and you're the hero of the Panhandle. How do you process that?
Yeah, you know, I've said it a lot of times. I really don't like that label. I've done what I was trained to do. I've been in law enforcement 35 years, and I've done what I was trained to do. And you know, man, I tell you, everything they taught me leading up to this, what would happen, what you would experience, is exactly what I'm experiencing right now. And, you know, the ups and downs and the taking the life of another person. It's not easy to do, and so I'm coming to grips with it slowly. And you know, I appreciate you guys, the news media. I asked them yesterday to give me one day I wanted to spend time with my pastor and my church folks and my family, and then I would give anybody that wanted an interview today, and they did that, and I respect y'all for that. Thank you.
What was the overall message from your pastor, and how did he help you?
You know, my problem was, you know, I took a life, and their message to me was, you took an oath to protect and serve, and God put you in that position. And the thing that they reiterated to me is, God put you there that day. God wrapped his arms around you and everybody in that room, because it could have been a lot worse, a lot of death in there, and God's on your side and he's with you. And, you know, when you think that, you look in the mirror and you say, I'm okay, but you're not. And I needed that reassurance from my church, and a lot of things come to mind. Am I going to embarrass my community? I'm known as Salvage Santa here, and I'm a deacon in my church, and how am I going to embarrass the church? And, you know, I mean, sometimes I get to think about it now. I shot the guy in the back the first round because he had his back to me when he was shooting, and I thought, wow, am I going to go to jail for shooting him in the back? You know what I mean? There was so many things that went through my mind, and I just had to get that all out of my mind, and we're dealing with it today with the news and everything.
Have you watched the video?
No, sir, I haven't seen anything. I haven't read the papers. That night, you know, after the shooting, they took me to the hospital for precautionary measures, and I couldn't get my heart rate down. They said it was that big adrenaline. They said it was an elephant-sized adrenaline dump, and it just had me all haywire. And then, you know, they tell you that's going to happen to you when we go through these shooting schools and stuff, and it did. And so they put me to sleep. They let me sleep all night. They hid me in the hospital with my wife and protected me from that. And then I woke up yesterday morning.
And life begins anew. You know, we wouldn't have ever known about you, probably, the vast majority of us, but now we know that for the last 26 years, you've been putting toys together that somebody tried to throw away, and you and your family making clothes for them. So a lot of Bay County and Panama City folks who don't have as many privileges as the rest of us and aren't quite as fortunate might have a good Christmas. And I love that story, and I just wondered how that process has been every year, and how that is for you and your family.
Well, we started it out a long time ago. I worked in a department store against each other called the Fuzz Bowl. And we raised money, we bought toys, and we couldn't play the Fuzz Bowl anymore because we were all getting hurt playing that serious football. And so we kind of went in one direction, and I'm kind of a crafty guy in the workshop. And Sears started giving me those broken toys, and I started fixing them. And that's where I got started. And you guys and the media nicknamed me the Junkyard Santa Claus, Salvage Santa. And we do about 600 to 800 kids a year now, and we build anywhere between 200 and 300 bicycles a year. And it's my hobby. When I'm not policing, I'm out in the shop building toys.
You never know when tragedy is going to strike, and you certainly never know when you're going to find inspiration. And I bet a lot of people just did. It's so nice to talk to you, and just congratulations and thank you for all you do.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all waiting today and giving me that time yesterday with my family and my church.
So happy to.
Thank you.
All right. Mike Jones, Bay County, Florida. Panama City, whether he likes it or not, he's a hero. He's going to have to live with it.